Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel, Lifestyle and Fashion Tea. I was going to report on this story earlier, but I wanted to get more information. And this is the story about Caleb Wilson. Caleb Wilson was a junior at Southern University, and he was pledging Omega Psi Phi. And it had came out that while they were in line, he just suddenly collapsed. And Omega Psi Phi didn't know why, what happened, so forth, thereon. So I said, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait a minute because they know what happened. Something happened, and here we have
Southern
it.
University student who in his short life has played music all around the world is dead after an off-campus fraternity ritual. Our Ethan Tunnel starts us off today. He spoke with students about this tragic loss. Ethan.
Yeah, that's right. The Jaguar family is heartbroken today, Greg. Caleb Wilson, a member of the Human Jukebox, was in the middle of what a source tells us was a fraternity ritual off campus when he suddenly collapsed early this morning. Now, students and authorities are trying to wrap their heads around what happened.
Something like this is just out of the ordinary.
20-year-old Caleb Wilson, a student at Southern University, lost his life early this morning after collapsing during what a source told WAFB was an off-campus and unsanctioned Omega fraternity ritual at a local park.
There's an autopsy that's currently ongoing. We don't have much information that we can share at this particular time, but again, this is being investigated as just a death at this time.
Wilson, a pledge for Omega Psi Phi, was also a member of the Human Jukebox. His family says he's played his music during trips to Cuba and Europe, and once even played with Trombone Shorty. After collapsing at North Sherwood Community Park, other students rushed him to Baton Rouge General Hospital, where he arrived unconscious and was pronounced dead. Southern University issued a statement saying Wilson was a junior majoring in mechanical engineering at the campus and extended its condolences to his family, classmates, and loved ones. Baton Rouge police are now waiting on the autopsy report. Once that information is available from the coroner, law enforcement will have a better understanding of what happened to Wilson. In the meantime, Southern students are in a state of sorrow.
Here it's kind of shocking because it's like you're a part of a big group. Like everybody on campus loves the Human Jukebox, even people that don't go here. So for them to lose a member of the band, I know it's going to be hard on them.
And it's not like it was, I don't know, like no gang violence or nothing. It was a fraternity, so we're gonna see how it play out, man. It's, outside looking in, though, like I said, it's crazy to me.
Usually you'll see more people like laughing and stuff on campus, so right now like the mood is kind of down, and I'm just hoping like whoever knew him can like get through this and like we can all come back to that common ground once everything's resolved.
Wilson's father is part of the security team for Saints owner Gail Benson. Miss Benson said today she is deeply saddened by the passing of a, quote, very bright young Southern University student. She went on to say she has a deep and personal connection to his family, with his father having worked with her for many years. Greg?
All right, thank you for that. So in light of Wilson's death and the ongoing investigation, Southern is stopping all recruitment and initiations. The university sent a letter to all chapter advisors and presidents saying going forward, for now, fraternities, sororities, and student clubs will not be allowed to induct any new members. The university is also banning interest meetings and rushes. That goes for off and on campus events.
Okay, so that was the start of the story. This is how it all started. They didn't know why. Here is the second part. I just thought I would bring everyone up to date. So now we're in the middle. Let's take a listen.
Emerging is tied to the death of that Southern University student, Caleb Wilson. Our sources tell the I-Team the story that the fraternity members initially told police about where Wilson collapsed, that whole story was fabricated.
This is something the I-Team broke this morning. Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, is here now with the big lie fraternity members allegedly told police.
Good evening.
I had to stop it again real quick, but just please listen to the lie.
Fraternity members of Omega Psi Phi told police that Caleb Wilson collapsed at the North Sherwood Brick Park. But today, the I-Team learned Wilson and the frat members were never at that park. Instead, we're told they were at a warehouse when Wilson collapsed and fell unresponsive.
20-year-old Caleb Wilson's death did not have to happen, according to sources with direct knowledge of it.
The scholar and member of the Human Jukebox had a bright 9 pledges in a line during an unsanctioned off-campus fraternity ritual when each one was allegedly forced to take blows to the chest. Those sources say Wilson collapsed and began having a seizure, and that's when a cover-up ensued. When Wilson was hit, some of those fraternity members brought him to the hospital, and it was doctors at Baton Rouge General who called police about Wilson's death. That's when Baton Rouge police opened an investigation. Initially, police were told the incident happened at a Breck Park on North Sherwood. But tonight, the I-Team learned that was all a fabrication. The pledges and the fraternity brothers were never at that Breck Park at all and met at an off-site location to concoct the story about the Breck Park. Omega Psi Phi issued a statement last week extending profound sorrow and condolences for Wilson's death and said they are working to gather accurate information.
So Omega Psi Phi pretends like they don't know. Say that they're going to work with police to find out how all this happened, and yet they knew all along. I thought this was like a brotherhood.
And pending further study and testing. Our sources say there are multiple individuals that were responsible for the unsanctioned off-campus fraternity ritual, but not all will face the same level of involvement. We're told it's a possibility that criminal charges could come depending on the involvement of those who took part and for the cover-up. For the WAFB team, I'm Chris Nakamoto. Guys.
University packed with family, friends, and students all coming together to honor the life of Caleb Wilson, a junior allegedly killed by hazing.
Yeah, Louisiana First News reporter Deshaun Johnson joins us live in studio tonight. And Deshaun, you attended the vigil. I'm sure it was an emotional night. This can't be easy for family and friends.
Well, Christina, Andre, emotions were high as the sound of laughter and tears filled the air when dozens gathered to remember the life of Caleb Wilson. His family still trying to process the tragic loss of their son.
To lift them up in this moment of sorrow, in this moment of loss.
Heavy hearts were gathered on the campus of Southern University.
Pray that they would reach out for support.
Dozens of students, family, and friends joining together to honor Caleb Wilson at a candlelight vigil Wednesday evening. The 20-year-old died last week during an off-campus fraternity ritual when he was in the process of pledging for Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Now, everyone shares the moments they had with him.
Let's hold on to these memories and keep his light alive in our hearts.
Grief filled the air, but in the moment, those who knew Wilson shared all of the memories they got to create with him.
Son, a friend, a student, a leader, and to me, he was a mentee.
Wilson was a junior majoring in mechanical engineering. He was also a trumpet player for the Human Jukebox.
Don't stop with it.
During the time of mourning, Wilson's father spoke, saying how grateful he was to see so many who loved his son come to support them during the process.
I really want to thank you all for the love y'all gave my son. We really will always support the Human Jukebox.
Elected officials also coming to pay their respects. State Attorney General Liz Murrow spoke out, saying she'll fight to get justice for the Wilson family.
We also need to remember that this was senseless. It shouldn't have happened. It's our job to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
And that justice, many of Wilson's friends say hopes it comes to light.
Everything comes to light, and everything will come to light. I love you.
Jukebox held a second line celebration for Wilson after the vigil, and District Attorney Tony Clayton said he spoke with the university and plans on renaming the courtyard by the union after Caleb Wilson and creating a plaque for him as well. In studio, Deshaun Johnson, Louisiana First News.
Investigating the chapter of Omega Psi Phi after the death of Caleb Wilson. The WBRZ investigative unit learning Wilson was in a warehouse with members of the fraternity on February the 27th when he was punched in the chest and became unconscious. He was taken to a hospital where he later died.
The university launched its student judiciary process and released a statement saying all organizations on campus are required to undergo rigorous anti-hazing training and are held to high standards related to membership intake processes. Any breaches of these policies prompt disciplinary sanctions.
New tonight, as the investigation gets underway, friends and family members celebrated Wilson's life both here and in his hometown of New Orleans.
During a vigil on Southern's campus, students told News 2's Sarah Gray Barr they want to remember Wilson by how he lived, not by how he died.
Michael, Sylvia, sharing candlelight, hugs, and memories. Students, staff, and supporters honored Caleb Wilson with a vigil in the day and a second line at night.
20-year-old Caleb Wilson died in Baton Rouge after a source says he was hit in the chest during a hazing ritual.
Jacob Bradford shows us how his church in Kenner celebrated his life.
Well, Megan John parishioners brought large pictures of Caleb Wilson and honored his passion of music tonight. We spoke to the pastor at Pilgrim Baptist Church who says his own son was very close to Caleb and says he will miss seeing the young man around.
Okay, so let's briefly get into what hazing is. Hazing is any activity that humiliates, degrades, or endangers someone, regardless of their consent, as a condition of joining or participating in a group. It can be intentional or unintentional and can occur on or off campus. Hazing can be intimidating. Now, it goes on to say, I just want to stop right here and say, this is supposed to be a brotherhood. This should not be intimidating. Harassing and sometimes violent and can threaten a person's health, safety, and well-being. It's defined by 3 components. Group context. Hazing occurs within a group. Is hazing illegal? Yes. Hazing is illegal in Maryland and many other states, with penalties ranging from misdemeanors to felonies. It all depends on the severity of harm caused. Now, this is one of the problems that I do have with fraternities and sororities, is the fact that to become a member, you have to do these things that don't make any sense to me, anything that pertains to being like brotherhood or sisterhood. You're doing things that has no ramification of that. I don't get it. Why are you trying to hurt him if he is trying to be your brother? And these are people who, like they say, for life, your brother for life or your sister for life. Then why are we hurting each other? He can get that in the street. He can go get punched in his chest in the street. Y'all knew what happened and you tried to hide it, and it's sad. And I just want to point out real quick, hazing isn't the only thing that they do. They do a lot of other things that I don't even want to talk about. But I am going to do my best to keep up with this story. If you guys are in a fraternity or a sorority, let me know. If you guys know of anybody that has been involved in hazing, put it in the comments. Let me know. If you were asked to join a fraternity or sorority and you changed your mind, maybe you thought yes and then you changed your mind and said no, let me know as well. Because I was one and I changed my mind and said no. But I do have a lot of friends that are. So let me know in the comments. And guys, on the way out, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.